Moments ago, Judge Rata Mokgwatleng found that the two confession statements by accused number 1 and 2, in fact, were made freely and voluntarily, and now presumably will be admitted as part of evidence once the main trial begins. Our senior reporter, Chriselda Lewis, is part of our team tracking developments. She joins us now from just outside court. And Chriselda, of course, we've been waiting with bated breath. That ruling is finally out. It's a major step. And of course, the other obvious questions that emerge now are questions around the implication for the...
Well, that's right. Breaking news coming out of the High Court in Judge Rata Mokgwatleng ruling that the confessions that were made by accused number 1, Muzi Sibiya, as well as accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, were made freely and voluntarily and without any duress. Also ruling that the pointings out that was made by accused number 1, Muzi Sibiya, was also made without any duress. Of course, since October this court has been seized with the matter relating to these confessions in which the accused number 1 and 2 have contended that police had beaten them up, had also tubed them, as well as forced them into signing prepared documents or prepared confessions. So they also took to the stand, you'd recall, accused number 1 and 2 in their own defense, giving a version of what they say had taken place after they had been arrested. You would recall that accused number 1 had been arrested on the 30th of May 2020 and accused number 2 on the 16th of June 2020. And as a result of that, they say that there to several places where they had been assaulted, tubed, and basically forced into making these confessions. But of course, today, after all the evidence had been put before court, including testimony from the lead investigator in this case, Brigadier Bongani Ntanzi, of course, and others, the police, you would recall, maintained that no such thing had happened. They claimed that they had followed proper procedure in the execution of their duties and that the claims that were being made by the accused do not hold any water. The court, of course, today finding in favor of the state, which you would remember had indicated that no such thing had happened. They'd argued since the beginning that due process had been followed and the claims that were being made by the two accused were unfounded. I want to bring in now the National Prosecuting Authority spokesperson, Lumka Mahanjana, who will give us their reaction this morning. Lumka, thank you very much indeed for your time. Reaction, first of all, to the decision or the ruling of the court that was handed out down this morning.
As the NPA, we welcome the ruling that found that the confessions and the pointing out was done freely and voluntarily.
Of course, the state had always maintained that what the accused had been alleging was unfounded. Several police officers had taken the stand, including the lead investigator, Brigadier Bongani Ntanzi, who all said that no such things had happened. Where to from here? We understand from Advocate George Balo, who is the state prosecutor, yes, that tomorrow the contents of these confessions will now be placed before this court.
Indeed. So the contents of the confession statements will now be brought before court via the witnesses that took on the statements, and thereafter will then proceed with the main trial.
What do you make of this decision by the court? I mean, ultimately, the NPA and the state have been insisting, and this is it validates you as the NPA, doesn't it?
Indeed, because if you might recall, we have been dealing with this trial within the trial for 5 months. So to get to this ruling is a relief, so that we can then proceed with the main trial, in order for the Meyiwa family to receive justice for the death of Senzo Meyiwa.
Are you still confident at this stage as the NPA? It's a nod for your team for now. A small win, but a win nonetheless.
As the NPA, we have evidence that proves that the 5 accused that are in the dock did actually kill Senzo Meyiwa.
All right, thank you very much, Lumka Mahanjana, who is the spokesperson for the National Prosecuting Authority. Indeed, a victory for the state in this court today. Of course, they'd maintained, as I indicated, that the done. a victory, certainly, for the state. Of course, what we do now know is that tomorrow we will have the contents of these confessions read out inside court. Not clear at this particular stage whether it will be the police officers who took down the confessions or the magistrate, you would recall, who also took the second confession of accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi. What the state had alleged initially was that, of course, accused number 1, Muzi Sibiya, had confessed. He'd also participated in appointings out in Vosloorus. And the state had also alleged that accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, had basically deposed 2 confessions, one on the 19th of June 2020 and the other on the 24th of June 2020. The first one had been before a police officer and the other one before a magistrate. Likely to see tomorrow is any of these police officers who took down these confessions or the magistrate to come before this court tomorrow and give the contents of what exactly those confessions detail. So we're back in court tomorrow. Certainly a victory for the state here this morning. A small victory, others would say, but we get to see now or revert or resume with the main trial, which of course reading of the contents of these confessions. Breaking news coming out of the High Court in Pretoria, where the High Court has ruled that the confessions of accused number 1 and 2, number 1 being Muzi Sibiya and the second being Bongani Ntanzi, they could basically say they confessed freely and voluntarily.
Yeah, absolutely. There are weeks where not much happens and days, it appears, where a whole lot unfolds. Today is certainly one of those days. A huge step forward in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, now that we know that these confession statements will be admitted as part of the evidence for the main trial, which essentially kicks off from tomorrow.